Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you one of the most insane stories I have ever seen in the world of chess. It's currently August 27th, 2023, and there is a chess player in the world from India who is 17 years of age, who in 30 days basically became a Grandmaster. You might say, well, from zero? No, not quite from zero. He was playing chess for a while before that as a teenager, but in the span of several weeks, he gained 600 ELO points and is now rated over 2,600 internationally, higher than most of the Grandmasters on the planet. And I'm going to tell you how this happened. It's not without drama. It's not without very mild controversy, not anything he did. Let me just share this with you and we'll just get started here. This all started for me when I saw this. I went to the juniors ranking on the website 2700 Chess. Please don't worry, chess websites are not very fancy. These are the highest rated junior players in the world, rated 21 years old and younger. Firouzja, Gukesh, Pragdananda, blah, 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 all the familiar faces. And who is this guy? Aditya Dhingra, 2607.8. Live rating higher than multiple Grandmasters, including the gentleman who got the youngest ever Grandmaster title, Abhimanyu Mishra. And he just went up 75 spots. And I thought, wait a minute, how did this happen? Who is this guy? So of course I clicked and I looked at his recent games, and he's been playing a bunch of tournaments in Europe, and he's been winning a lot of games. And then I saw this article. Indian 16-year-old jumps from 2,000 to 2,600. It's not even 2 months. The craziest thing about this is it's like 35, 40 days max. And I thought, what? So shout out to Tarjei Svensson, by the way. He's a Norwegian journalist. And we're going to read through this together. And then I'm going to show you the journey. And then I'm going to show you 3 of his games. Sounds good? This is a guy that basically became the level of a Grandmaster within 30 days. Now, one small technicality, to actually become a Grandmaster, he's going to have to get the norms. But he's 100 points overqualified at this point. So, 16-year-old Indian player catapulted himself into the world elite, became an international master. He already got that title in a matter of 2 months, as described as an exceptional feat. He's from a place called Gurugram. I think is it Gurugram? I thought it was Gurugram. Anyway, it's a city southwest of New Delhi in India. His rating was 2020. His rating was 2,000 just less than 2 months ago. This is what his chart looks like, and he's played in tournaments where he's gained 188 points, and then he beat a couple of people. He gained 117 more points, and I was like, what? How is that possible? And here he is, by the way, rocking a Barcelona jersey, loving it. We're going to look at some of his games as well. And now, he thought he was going to become an international master, but now he wants to become a Grandmaster and wants to play chess as a professional. Now, this is how this happened. His massive rating jump can be in part explained by a K factor. A K factor determines how much your rating changes if you score higher or lower than expected. Now, Aditya has a K factor of the max, 40. Why? Because he's under the age of 18 and he's got a rating below 2,300 when all of this started. So, if you go to the FIDE website, this is the international governing body of chess, and you calculate a K factor. My rating right now is 2322. That's my rating. If I beat somebody who is my rating, all right, and my K factor is 10. It's 10 because I crossed 2,400. I would gain 5 points. If Aditya beat this person with the same rating as me, he would gain 29.2 points. So if you're below the age of 18 and your rating is below 2,300, which his was, his rating change factor is 4 times higher than the lowest. Normally your rating change factor is this. So instead of 29.2, he would gain 14.6. But that is how, with this factor, he was, for example, beating people when he was on the run, and he was gaining 35 points for one game. Right? He was gaining 31 points for one game, 33 points, 30. So in one tournament, he gained 188 points, 124 points. In 2 weeks, he gained 300 rating points. He played 20 games of chess and he gained 300 rating points because of this rule. This is not his fault. The point is, I'm not trying to blame him. I'm just saying that's crazy. So he gained 300 points in 2 weeks, which is why his rating graph looks like this. And this is not even accounting for the 2600. Live as of September 1st, he will be rated 2608. So his chart is going to be up here. He was 2027. And in a couple of tournaments, he gained 600 points. Now he's just got to get the norms. He's an international master with a rating of 2608. He's the highest rated international master in the world now. This is insane. This is craziness. There have been stories like this where a player is rated like 2,000, 2,100 and then goes to play and then, beats everybody basically. Like his winning rate was like 80% because he studied a lot. That's what he did. He probably just had a low rating but was studying. And if you don't play a lot, your rating doesn't change. And I'm going to show you a couple of his games. Like here he beat a 2300, 2300, 2380. So he became an international master. Now we're going to see how he plays against grandmasters. But I got news for you. In basketball, they say barbecue chicken if you can score on somebody. I'm not sure this guy is 2600 strength just yet. He's clearly 2400 strength, but we're gonna see if he can maintain. So he had a couple of tournaments. He played with the white pieces in this game against Shaunak Shivakumar, who's actually an American junior player, also looking for his titles. This game was an English opening, like an English ready. White played G3 and Bishop G2. This is called the Neo-Catalan because white doesn't actually play D4. So Shaunak took. And Aditya played Queen A4 check, trying to win this pawn back right away. And it's very interesting to see his playing style, right? Like, okay, he gained all these rating points because of this K-factor rule. And if you're confused, I'm also confused. I don't really know why they have the K-factor thing. Like, why can't it all be standardized? In chess, if you cross 2400, your K-factor goes down to 10. Most people's K-factor is 20, minus 10 because I was 2400 in the past. Not anymore. We don't talk about that. His was 40. Now that he's 2600, it's going to go down to 10, but the damage is done, So, Queen C2, and Shaunak plays E5. You will notice Shaunak clearly a little bit shook by the opening. First of all, Shaunak, I think, came 18 minutes late to the game, as you can see. And then, a little bit shook, taking his time, plays E5. The best move for black is C5, followed by Queen C7 and Bishop to E7. So let's see how our future grandmaster here, hopefully, plays the game, right? So pawn to D4, rook to D1, knight C3, good pressure building, potential to expand here, potential to get the knight to F5, playing on the long diagonal with his bishop. White has a very nice advantage. He develops his dark squared bishop, and he sent it there to die. So if pawn to H6, it was going to go knight D5, probably, danger levels and smashing into the position. Pawn takes D4, knight D4, looking for knight to F5. Shaunak plays knight B6, but his position is looking very cramped, and now bishop takes F6 is played, and the knight arrives on F5. You may ask, why did Shaunak not take like this? I think he was worried about knight E4. I'm not really sure what he was worried about after that, but probably didn't like something like of this nature. Rook C1 and then this, and clearly we see that Aditya's got very good opening preparation, very nice positional awareness, takes on F6 to damage his opponent's structure, immediately gallops in with the knight, knight looking juicy, light squared bishop powerful, rook on the open file. Good opening preparation leads to an advantage, and now he does not trade queens because his queen is superior to black's queen. His queen is going to be useful to hunt the king, also to infiltrate. Opposite colored bishops benefit the attacking side. White is threatening to just straight up win the game, so black has to play F5, and now a very nice idea, rook to D3. And now rook to E3 attacking the queen, sending it this way, and now rook to F3, and black is just going to lose a pawn. So great pressure from the opening pays off. He's going to grab that pawn on E5, and like I said, opposite colored bishops, right? So there's going to be a bishop coming here. The knight is going to come in. Knight E4, rook G5 is a problem. F4, E4, E5, rook G5 is a problem. Shaunak is defenseless. Like, I have seen Shaunak play a lot of games here in America, and this is not looking very good. Here comes the bishop to E4. The pressure is building. Black has to take. play passively, and now white just hasn't moved these two pieces. Here comes rook to d1. You have rook d3 and all of these different rotating ideas. You also have knight e4. Black just can't move a piece. So black goes here, and you know, you could play defense, but actually this is a loose piece. So bishop takes h7. Nice little tactic spotted. If queen takes, the queen goes to g4, hitting this and this. White's just going to be 2 pawns up. Very easy conversion after that. So instead of that, Shanak goes here. And Aditya gives this up. But like I said, that rook was never going to stay there. That rook is going to go up and over. And that is exactly what he does. Rook to d5. Black goes bishop e7. Rook h5 so that the bishop can get out of the way. Now rook h8. Bishop f5. But black is completely hopeless. Completely hopeless position. The rook still goes to h7. That rook went from a1 to d1 to d5 to h5 and to h7. Like Tetris. King slides up. Absolutely nothing there. Knight d6. Now we hunt the king. Queen h5. Rook h8 is not mate. There's a queen on the other side of the board. Knight takes. Queen takes f7. And that's mate. The black rook in this game got to move once. It literally moved to get off of the diagonal of the light squared bishop, right? Rook, look at that. The only move. Take a photo of it right now. It's like the only eruption of a geyser, okay? It's like you go to a national park, the geyser erupts. Now it's not going to erupt for 100 years, or a volcano. Rook b8, that's it. Rook b8, and then the rest of the game happened while the black rook slept. The white forces went in, absolutely ravaged the position. Very nice attack here. And at the end of it, it ends with a checkmate, a brutal checkmate, I may add. The game review of this game, I'm scared to even look at. I am scared to even look at. Aditya played at 95% with an estimated elo of 3,000 and a brilliant move, bishop takes h7. Mildly brilliant. I mean, queen h7, queen g4. But yeah. Yeah, not too bad. And because of that, because of the 2144, you know how many points he gained in this game? Let's go back to the calculator. And again, this just goes to show you. So Shanak is rated 2387. Again, if I played Shanak and I won, okay, I would gain 5.9 points. That's how many points I would gain if I beat Shanak. Aditya beat Shanak and gained 32 points for this game. 32 points. Imagine the math on that, right? That's wild. And Aditya is probably better than me at chess, by the way. But his rating there was officially lower, and he has the K factor, which is craziness. That's just what the rules are, you know? You can't hate the player, hate the game. He had another game against Andrei Skvartsov from Montenegro. In this game, Aditya played e4. So he's already got a wide-ranging opening repertoire. His opponent played the Karl Khan defense. We have knight c3, the two knights. Very easy to play. I'm gonna drink some coconut water. You should also hydrate. Just let's take a little 30-second hydration break. Maybe an ad will play here. Coconut water is delicious. All right. Hope you're having a good day. Take knight f6. This is a normal line. And Aditya plays queen e2, which is the most challenging move. Now, there's a lot of lines here for black. Taking is good. Then playing knight d7, knight f6. Queen a5 is a line. Queen d5 is a line. Bishop e6 is a line, as stupid as that looks, to try to put the bishop here. Queen a5 to try to play bishop f5. So we have this. Bishop f5. The queen drops back. Taking is too dangerous. Bishop f7. Queen c4 check is a fork. So e6. Black plays very solidly. And for the second time, we're now going to get a chance to see, you know, how good is Aditya? Like, how effortlessly chess comes to him. Okay, he puts a rook in the center. Black plays a5. The idea is to take space on the queen side. Aditya plays a3. Black plays a4, restricting the queen side. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Aditya now actually brings the bishop back voluntarily. Two things now. c4 is free for the pawn. And also you can trade bishops if you ever need to. So the rook centralizes. Now we have this position. Aditya plays a, preparation type of move, making sure nothing is ever getting trapped. And now he has to do something. I mean, he has basically maximized this position. So what comes next? Well, in every position, you're looking how you can possibly make progress. White can make progress here, or here to c5, or a knight in the center, or maybe g4. Black plays knight f6. And white can now play g4, knight e5, but he just decides to play knight e5 right away. Now, had black played something like rook d8, for example, this is still the idea. right? And then h4 is an idea, h5, and then, you know, black would go here, and then maybe white would prepare various attacks or slide the king, you know, out of the way. But Aditya puts his knight in the center, and so does Andrei. Andrei wants this bishop. Now, this would not be a good decision because black would do this. There's absolutely no need to give up a bishop for a knight unless you can explain if there's a good reason to do so. So we have bishop g3, black plays rook d8, and now Aditya goes, well, I have something to work with. You know, I did everything in this position to improve my position to the maximum. Now it's time to attack. c4, hitting the knight. Knight's got to go there or there. We're probably not going to go there because that's really ugly. After that, the knight has no future. Knight f6. Now Aditya plays c5. So that c pawn weakened the d pawn when it advanced, but it took space. You're now fighting for real estate. Knight c4, knight d6 looking really juicy, and the black pawns are restricted. This pawn is a little stuck for the future. That pawn's not getting out, right? So black now should probably move his queen. He shouldn't go here because that runs into this, but maybe queen a5, right? And after knight c4, maybe you pin, you try to get the queens off, but white is still probably going to get the knight to d6. You know, that's at some point, maybe not right away, but that's kind of the idea. And then here, black plays queen b5. So Andrei wants the queens off. That's his idea. He does not want the queens on the board. He thinks white's queen is better traded. Aditya takes and uses what's been given to him. Position is still equal, but he's asking the questions. Pawn to c6. Now, black can take, but it's very scary. Okay, it's very scary. You allow in the knight, and then you're going to give up the bishop, so you're going to be, you know, down bishop for the knight, and then, you know, white's rook is going to come into pressure. Black is going to have to play defense. White's going to apply more pressure. Position is looking like it's barely holding on. So instead of that, Andrei here goes for complications. He plays bishop to e4. In fact, he plays bishop e4 pretty fast. Look at his time. Not in 1 second, in 30 seconds, because they gain 30 seconds every time they make a move. But that's a weird move. The idea clearly is that if this, then this. But the idea is I'm attacking your pawn. So push it. Now, obviously in the game, there's no eval bar. All right. Neither player knows that it's that big of a mistake, but Andrei is basically saying, look, go into my position because your pawn is going to die. I'm going to go here. You can't guard it. I'm going to play knight d5 and take. I'm going to play bishop d6 and take. But he missed something. In this position, he missed a very lethal resource. And that resource is the fact that white can play a move here that does not look possible. Of course, white can retreat, play defense, but then black is going to play bishop d5 and so on. In this position, white has the absolutely nasty knight to d7. A move that was not possible moments ago because the rook would be covering that square. The knight does cover that square, but the knight is what we call overloaded. So Aditya jumps into the position knight d7. Now if the knight takes, the rook is going to take this, but if the bishop goes back, I'm not going to take that. I'm zigzagging. And I get your rook because my bishop guards the pawn that you let into the position. You! The protagonist invited the antagonist into the house. And now knight takes d7, rook e4, and Aditya has a bishop and a pawn that is not going anywhere. And all he's got to do is bludgeon. He's just got to bludgeon. He's got to defend his c-pawn, and he's just got to get in there. He brings the rook back. Black tries to activate his pieces, but he's just got to just rip it open. The rook's powerful. On the E and D file, the bishops stare from a distance. E d5, chop it all down. At some point, black is going to run out of pieces. Bishop d5, you can't take because bishop b7. And that's it. And you might get my bishop, but after I take, and rook d8 check, you can't stop this. You're going to lose a bishop, and then you're going to lose the game. So bishop d6 played, and Aditya takes, and sometimes the best way to go 2 steps forward in life is to go 1 step back. In this case, 2 steps back, but 1 move backwards. The knight is hanging. If the knight moves, rook d8 happens, and if rook c7, rook here, you're never going to win this pawn because you're going to get mated. And let's just say I don't mate you, rook to b6, because let's say this was the position, it's just winning. I'm going to win both pawns, and then I'm going to queen. Knight to d7 in this game was a brutal move, and it was equal, but Aditya took his chance. Listen, he put pressure with white. It's all you can ask from somebody. Used his c-pawn. His opponent made a mistake, because I think us 2300s are just not particularly good at chess. You know, I'm 2300. And he just bludgeoned. He just went in, bishop f3, cool, calm, collected, wins a very nice game. Once again, we will pop on over to the rating calculator just so I can show you. 2307 is the opponent, right? Same thing. Aditya wins this game, 28.8 points. If I played Andrei in a tournament, and let's say my K factor was 20, 9.6. 9.6, right? Also, my rating is slightly higher, but, or 4.8 if I beat him right now. So it's just, it's crazy. You can go on these monster runs, and you are helped by the K factor. And this was one of his best wins. He also beat a Grandmaster, but I couldn't find that game. I guess that game was not uploaded. Maybe the transmission was broken. Don't exactly know what happened with it, but oh, and Aditya doesn't have a country. Let me just change that real quick. He's from India. As if the teenagers of India needed another 2700. Okay? E4, E6. D45, this is against Vuk Djordjevic. Djordjevic. Knight C3. So Aditya clearly an E4 player. I guess against the young guy, against Shonik, he decided to play something slightly differently. Maybe he didn't like Shonik's repertoire after E4, but he plays E4, and now he plays a very principled French. This is called the win hour. This is a very sharp line where black tries to counterattack white's weakened pawns. White goes here, and oftentimes will play H4 because with the absence of a bishop, black's kingside could get very weak, and white likes to advance over here. This is all very, very normal, and advanced chess players like 2000 plus know all about this stuff. Maybe you're watching this in your 1700 and you know about this stuff. So black likes to shut this down and basically just bludgeon white over here. White likes to take as much space as possible and then, you know, kind of expand. As you can see here, everything that white is doing is about taking space on this side of the board, completely restricting black. And actually, white doesn't even castle. He plays king f1 and king g2 because you don't really know where the rook wants to go, okay? Now, could he have just castled? Yeah, I think he kind of did something a bit too fancy. And this is basically the position. White is going to try to attack here while he is restricted. Maybe he will attack here. Black might try to fight back. And for now, black prepares. And black brings the knight back to c8. It's going to be a bit of a maneuvering game, a little bit of cat and mouse. Could the players just repeat moves and agree to a draw? Probably. Probably, but it's, you know, white has more space. White's got to do something, all right? Now, knight g2, all right? I guess preparing knight e3. Now, if black just shuffles back and forth, white is probably going to play knight e3, probably play f4, probably, you know, like try to do something. So queen a5 played, and now immediately a4, offering up the pawn. Aditya says, go ahead. Take on a4. It's free pawn. It's free. I have no intention of trying to win it back because you will just play b5, right? So black says, okay, knight a4, come on. Do your worst. Knight a4. But with one pawn, you have unclogged the bathtub, all right? And now there's a big explosion coming on that side of the board. Queen c1, all right? Now knight e3, now queen a3. Look at this. We're transferring all the pieces. Black comes back, simultaneously removing the pressure on the queen herself and also potentially moving over here for an attack. Aditya advances. Black counter advances. Aditya plays rook aa1 because he's not sure where exactly he wants the rook. Now black tries to lock the position en passant, and the queen infiltrates on d6. Black actually has an advantage here, but it's a very complex position. Plays knight c8. Queen slides out. Now black relocks the position. Now Aditya is in trouble. Bishop g2, bishop c6. But Aditya is a man after my own heart because in this position, Aditya sacrificed the rook! Rook takes a4! And suddenly the evaluation's like, wait a minute, could this be a real thing? Is he actually doing something here? Black got 2 minutes on the clock. Is this? He's making a run for it. Pawn takes. Now knight takes c4. You can't take because that's mate, but it's not checkers. The knight is going to a5 and maybe e5. The e file is suddenly open for business. Rook b1. What are we doing here? Black plays queen to e7, looking for a queen trade. Aditya, knight a5. If you trade the queens and then you slide back to d7, how is black actually going to win this game? Because white is really the one calling the shots. c5 was going to happen. So here, Vuk with 120 on the clock doesn't go for a queen trade. Says, you know what? You want to mate me? I want to mate over here as well. Bishop e1, the ugly but necessary defensive move. Queen d7. Now the queen just inches forward. Bishop b7. Now black under serious pressure. Pawn to c4. Knight to b6. And Aditya, with 40 seconds on his opponent's clock, decides to remove the bishop from the board and take on d5. That move is now going to re-allow white to enter with the bishop and the rook, and all 4 pieces are playing, and let's not forget, white still has a c-pawn. Takes. Bishop a5. If you take, and then you take, you are going to win, so black has to play a defensive move, but now here comes the rook! Rook to b1, bishop b6, bishop d5, and on this diagonal, black is in serious trouble. And in this position, Aditya says, you know what? You should have checkmated me when you had the chance, because now g4! The idea is that if you take, the king and, the rook and the queen are gonna get blocked by the pawn, and king to g3. You shall not pass to the pawn on g4. If the pawn on g4 can't pass, nobody can pass. This is like an artery blockage, and white will butcher the position and win the game. So instead of that Vuk plays queen takes g4, but now an M appears on the evaluation bar. Black is a moment away from delivering a violent checkmate of his own, but in this position, Aditya calculates forced checkmate in 7 moves. It begins with a check, and then he sacrifices another rook! Rook takes b6, the double rook sacrifice, giving up 2 rooks for 2 knights in the same game. That's what he did, right? He gave up a rook for a knight earlier? Yes, okay, just double checking. Let me just, this won't make it into the video. Don't tell anybody. He plays rook takes b6, and it's all checks, queen b6, and the way you calculate is that if this, then this, and if king a8, you know what the best move here is? You know what the best move is? Queen check, and now the bishop. And the point is that if the king moves here, this is mate, so the king has to go to a7, check, mate. Brutal. And in this position after king a8, he actually could have sacked this bishop too. Here, check, here, and then bishop c7 would have been the same thing, and if king a7, he would have done bishop b6. What an absolutely absurd attacking game where he got everybody involved and won moments before disaster. The queen and the bishop, the geometry to get the checkmate, with checkmate looming on the other side. And this was one of many impressive wins for Aditya Dhingra, who gains nearly 600 points in 4 tournaments. It's crazy. It is absolutely nuts. He played 4 tournaments in about 30 to 40 days, and now his FIDE rating is 2607.8. I got no idea what's next for this guy. Probably is going to get all his Grandmaster norms, but he is 108 points higher than the minimum ELO to become a GM, which is 2,500. That's all I got for you today. Get out of here.